I'm very pleased to start a new podcast on female bodybuilding called FBB Forum. My name is David, and I've been a big fan and supporter of the sport for many years. And I will be conducting several other interviews going forward, mostly with women's physique and women's bodybuilding competitors. I want to thank you all for watching this podcast, and please like and subscribe. For my second interview, I'm beyond thrilled to welcome the beautiful NPC women's bodybuilder and physique competitor Brittani Parish. Brittani has already had great success, placing third place at the North Americans in women's physique class D and fifth place in the heavyweight class for women's bodybuilding. Brittani lives in Texas with her husband and 3 kids, and please be sure to check out her Instagram featured in the comments section below. Brittani, welcome to the FBB Forum.
Awesome. Thank you, David. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming on, and I really appreciate it. So I'm going to start with a few questions about how you got started in bodybuilding. And I was just curious, did you have an athletic background before you started your fitness career?
I did. I started playing softball at the young age of 4.
Wow.
And I played softball all the way until I graduated high school for the most part. I played in select leagues through a youth association. And then I played volleyball also later on around middle school. So I was always athletic.
Wow.
And I started powerlifting in high school. It was sponsored by a booster club, and it was like the only powerlifting high school in the area at the time.
Okay. Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was
neat. I think I have seen powerlifting in other high schools in Florida, and it seems to be getting more popular, I think.
It is for sure. Like, especially in Texas, I don't know any high school that doesn't have a powerlifting team now. So
really? Wow, that's pretty cool. Huh.
Yeah.
Now, how did you get started in bodybuilding, and like who convinced you to start competing?
Well, so in high school, the powerlifting team that we had was predominantly men or predominantly male athletes. But myself and another senior at the time, we were approached by the football coach to join the powerlifting team because he saw us training in the weight room and was like, wow, have you guys ever thought about doing this? And that was really kind of, you had one of your questions, my aha moment. That was really my aha moment that I realized I was just, I don't want to say unnaturally, but I was just very strong for, a girl, however you want to say that.
Sure.
And so I worked with the football team, and we trained with them and the powerlifting guys. And that was just when I really fell in love with it.
That's terrific. That's really cool. Yeah. The in terms of when did you first end up going on stage for bodybuilding?
My first show, my goodness, I'm trying to think of when that was. I think I was 23 when I first stepped on stage.
Yeah.
It was right before I had my second daughter.
Okay.
So yeah, I want to say I was 22 or 23 when I first did my show, and it was the Adela Garcia Classic in here in Texas in oh my gosh, Pflugerville. Funny name, but yeah.
Very cool. Yes, I've heard of that show. That's a good show.
It was a good show, but I was not in the division I needed to be in.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
In terms of, and you did something bigger?
Yeah. Now granted, I wasn't as big as I am now when I first started competing, obviously.
Yeah.
But just the coaches that I worked with prior to the one I work with now, I think we're always trying to fit me down into women's figure and things like that.
Sure.
And I just, I love women's figure, but that's not my division. I don't feel most powerful in that division. So.
Yeah, sure. I understand. In terms of the flexing, do you like the flexing? Because
I do. Figure, I like the flexing. Yeah. That's really where I feel the most at home and comfortable with my body. I don't like the heels. I don't like the heels, dang it. I just don't. Like I don't want to be in heels. I want to be barefoot, and I want to like show you my front double bi, and that's not me. It's someone else, and that's, to each their own.
I understand. I bet the heels aren't comfortable at all.
No, and I look like a baby deer. So, you can't really flex well when you're walking like you got a pineapple up your butt.
That's true. I haven't heard that, but that makes sense, actually.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was not good.
Very cool. No, that's very cool. Thank you for that info.
Yeah.
Now, I was going to ask you a few questions about bodybuilding prep. Now, what would you say is like the hardest aspect of prep for you?
Honestly, David, it is the time management.
Sure.
So for me, and I'm sure there's a ton of competitors out there that have kids, but
Mm-hmm.
my kids are 16, almost 7, and almost 3.
Okay.
And so I've got a teenager that's involved in a lot of extracurriculars, and she's trying to get ready to go to college. And then I've got my 7-year-old that wants to do ballet and cheerleading. And then I've got my 3-year-old that's just a 3-year-old. She's just demanding.
Yeah, sure.
So the time management and balancing that without having severe mom guilt for taking time for myself, that's the hardest part for me. The diet I can do, the cardio, the lifting, that really is not a problem anymore.
Sure, I understand that.
It's just balance.
Yeah, I totally understand, especially with 3 kids. I think it would be tough to juggle and such a wide variety of ages like that too, because they have different needs, Yeah.
And I just never want to feel like I'm, being selfish.
Sure.
And bodybuilding is a very selfish sport. So.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it is really. It's not a team sport per se, although you have to have a team behind you to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was curious now with your 3 kids at home and you're cooking for them, is it hard to kind of maintain your diet when you're cooking for them and they have a radically different diet than you?
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie and say there aren't moments of just like vulnerability, or there's moments where I just want to cave and eat that slice of pizza.
Yeah.
But that's usually in the very first month or so of prep.
Okay.
When I'm trying to get my bearings coming from off season, transitioning back to more of I still have a relatively structured diet in off season, but really having that goal of like, no, if I eat this, then that means, I've got to do like 15 more minutes on the stairs to whatever, So it's really just that initial transition where I have to go, no, Brittani, you've already had enough of that in off season. It's time to get on track. And then once that initial time goes away or it passes, I don't have a hard time. I can buy 3 things of pizza and sit it right in front of me. As long as I have my food right there.
Okay.
As long as I have my food prepped and it's in the fridge and ready to go.
Yeah.
I can make myself go get that meal and sit down and eat that meal.
Okay. Sure. I understand that.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of discipline though.
Well, I think, yes, it is discipline, but it's preparation. So one of my favorite quotes is, failure to prepare is preparation to fail.
Yeah.
And so if you really think about it, like, yes, it is discipline, but if it's there, you don't want to waste the food, right? Food is expensive right now.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And
definitely.
then it's there and it's ready to go. So I really should have no excuse not to eat it.
Yeah, sure. I understand that. That's good to have it prepped and ready to go. And yeah. And that probably helps take away the temptation because it's there for you and it's ready.
And as weird as it sounds, like if I eat my meal at the same time that they're eating their bad meal, I can almost live vicariously through them. I can like imagine that it's that food.
Yeah, I understand.
I know that sounds silly, but I've come up with my own little tricks.
That makes sense though. That's a good strategy, I think, actually. Yeah. Now, what kind of food item lives in your head rent-free during prep?
Fruit snacks.
Fruit snacks?
Fruit snacks.
Really? Like the little packages?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I am Sour Patch Kids, fruit snacks, anything gummy. I love. Starburst. I want it all.
Those are really good. Yeah, I know what you mean. And they're not very good for you, I guess, either.
No, well, I do like to use them for like an intra-workout glycogen, like surplus, immediately just insulin boost, basically.
Okay, sure.
So it does have its function. I use it backstage for when I'm warming up.
Okay.
But it's just like they're so good. Instead of eating 1, I want to eat 7. So
yeah. Yeah, you don't want to get the big bag there. No.
Yeah. No.
Well, thank you for that info too.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about the fact you have 3 kids, and but I'm really impressed that you can maintain such a great physique with the 3 kids like that. How old are your kids, and are they supportive of your fitness career?
So I have Mila, who is our 3-year-old. She'll be 3 on the 23rd of this month.
Okay.
And then I have Eliana. She is our soon-to-be 7-year-old. Her birthday's in January.
Okay.
And then I have my oldest daughter, who we call K-Ray. She's 16. And her and the 7-year-old are very supportive. My oldest daughter thinks it's kind of weird, honestly. Like she doesn't understand why I like to get in a tiny bikini and step on stage in front of thousands of people.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
exactly what she said to me before. She's like, Mom, I mean, I'm all for it for you, but like, I would never do that in my wildest dreams.
Sure, I understand.
So, but my 7-year-old thinks I'm a superhero. I mean, she legitimately thinks I'm Wonder Woman. So she's always, Mommy, can I go with you to the gym? And she's probably my biggest cheerleader.
That's terrific. That's really cool. And that's your Instagram is Wonder Woman.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's terrific.
I've had that nickname since I was 14.
Really?
Yeah, because my first ever max bench press was, I think, like 165 when I was 14 years old. And so for at that age and the size that I was, my coach at the time nicknamed me Wonder Woman, and it's just stuck.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah. Have you dressed up as Wonder Woman for Halloween, or do you do that every year?
I haven't ever gotten the legitimate like cosplay outfit, but I've done the, just the costumes you order offline.
Okay,
and I've got the cape socks and the lunch box and.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm kind of ridiculous, but.
That's so cool though. I was curious, like, how do your parents feel about your fitness career?
So, my mother is stuck in the same like paradigm that a lot of people have about women not being able to be both. She thinks that I am overly masculine.
Okay.
And that's fine that she feels that way. She's never intentionally saying anything that's like derogatory or condescending. Now, occasionally, sometimes when she gives me hugs or something like that, she's like, wow, Brittany, you're so big and hard. Why? And I kind of I've let it roll off my back because she doesn't mean anything by it. She's just, that was when she was being brought up, you were supposed to be thin and, big boobs, always dress the nines, she would have never been caught running around in slides and workout clothes to the grocery store. Like, you know what I mean? It was very, you carried yourself always like you were high maintenance.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. Definitely a generational kind of thing too, for
Absolutely.
sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. That's
But my father thinks it's amazing. Like he shows me off all the time.
Really? That's terrific. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's really cool. I went to a bodybuilding show one time, and I was sitting next to parents of a competitor who was on stage, and the guy kept averting his eyes, like when his daughter would turn around and show her glutes and stuff. And I just thought it was cute. And she would turn back around and he would be, just cool with it again. But it was,
and like I said, I don't think that she or my stepfather mean anything by it. I just don't think that they fully agree with it because it's not how they were brought up either.
Yeah, sure. I understand that. Yeah, it's definitely a generational thing for sure, I think. Yeah. Now, is your husband, is he a bodybuilder too?
So he is a fireman and soon to be fireman paramedic. He is an avid, I would say, recreational lifter. He's not ever competed.
Okay.
He may in the future, he may not. He loves to live our lifestyle or my lifestyle, but just a little bit more loosely.
Okay, sure.
He says, I'm not getting rid of tacos and margaritas.
Oh, right.
No.
Yeah.
Which you have to at some point, so.
I would have a hard time giving up beer and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. No, I totally understand that.
But he's very supportive. And, like when I'm deep in prep, if he wants something like that, the great thing about it is he will usually wait or get it maybe when I'm not home so that I don't have to be around it and stuff like that.
Oh, that's
So,
terrific. That's really good. And he
yeah,
can kind of live vicariously through you. And
exactly.
yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. He,
Um,
when I was pregnant, he gained, a lot of sympathy weight.
oh
And
yeah,
then when I lose weight in prep and I get really lean, he tends to get lean with me. So it's really funny.
really? That's really
Yeah,
cool. That's
yeah,
kind of nice though,
it
that you
is.
can kind of experience it together and
Mhm.
yeah, that's great. Um, so now I'm going to ask you a little bit about coaching. Do you have a coach currently? And what advice can you give to aspiring women who are seeking a prep coach?
I do have a coach. He's wonderful. His name is Roy Williams. I
Mm,
tag him in a lot of my stuff on my Facebook
okay.
and on my Instagram as well. Um, so I have been through several coaches, 4, I think to be exact.
Mm,
Um, and this is just my preference. I respond better to a male coach.
okay.
Ever
Sure.
since, and there's really nothing other than just they usually have the intensity and the, for lack of a better word, the aggressiveness that I need in order to make me push.
Yeah, sure. I've heard that
And
before too.
I'm usually bigger than all of the women.
Yeah.
So I want someone that is essentially going to make me feel like I want to emulate that. If I had someone around here like Teresa Ivanchek or if I had another fellow female bodybuilder down here that I could work with, I would
Hmm.
love that. But in my area,
Yeah.
I'm the only one,
I understand. Yeah.
you
What
know.
are you in like a small town in Texas or are
I
you like
am in a small town. Yeah.
really?
I'm in a
Yeah.
town southwest, I guess, of Fort Worth. So
Okay. Yeah.
it's just not what I do is kind of like when I walk around the town around here, I stand out is all I'm gonna say.
Sure. I
If I was
understand.
in Dallas, maybe it wouldn't be that big of a deal and there'd be many more people I could choose from. But for me, just in my with where I've lived and things like that, there's more male competitors down here that I can choose from to coach me.
Okay. Sure.
And
That's
I guess the biggest thing that I think you need to look for is just communication and overall compatibility in regards to what do you want, and is the coach going to do what you want to do, or is the
mhm.
coach going to have his own bias and make you do what he wants you to do?
Okay. Yeah, I understand that. I've heard that from other competitors too. I think that's important to have that
Mhm.
compatibility and for that coach to be responsive to your needs, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because the 3 prior to this, I always felt like I couldn't be truly honest and tell them that I did want to go to female bodybuilding. I wanted to grow into that category. They
Okay.
always said, "Oh, no, 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 female bodybuilding is dying. Don't do that." So
Interesting. Okay.
it's
Wow.
not, by the way.
I know it's still doing pretty good. Rising
Yeah,
Phoenix just wrapped up and it's still pretty strong.
yeah,
Have you ever worked with a posing coach?
I have. I work with the renowned Sheila Brown.
Oh, really? She's
Yes,
awesome. Wow.
she is one of my coach's close friends, and she's phenomenal. She's posed me um, both of my last 2 shows, and I won't go anywhere else.
Great. Yeah, your posing is good, I think. So
She's wonderful.
yeah, that's terrific. Yeah, I think it's good to have a posing coach because I think
Mhm.
um, a lot of competitors don't necessarily have a dance background, so
Oh,
you
I
kind of
don't.
yeah, and you need somebody to help you with the flow and matching up with the music and stuff. So I think that's yeah.
And my big thing that was a hindrance, initially was I had my back surgery, and
Mm,
so I have a lot of, adhesions and scar tissue, that's stuck on my aponeurosis on my, like, lower back,
okay.
and
Yeah.
so rotary movements and twisting, to do those, side poses was really
Yeah.
difficult at first. I had to kind of
Really?
break that scar tissue.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, and
That's
she
pretty.
was the only one that was able to get me to move in a fashion, to achieve that illusion.
Was that painful though? I
Yeah,
bet.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had to
Wow.
practice for, I mean, hours
Really?
just to kinda because initially I couldn't get more than about, I guess you'd say like 25 to 30 degrees of rotation.
Really?
So,
Wow. Oh, I bet that was tough. Wow.
yeah, it was, but
Hmm.
we're good now. So
That's great. Yeah. No, you're doing a great job, I think, on stage. Yeah.
thank you.
Now, you've done women's physique and women's bodybuilding. Do you prefer one or the other? And is there a division that you'd prefer to turn pro in?
So we initially, okay, when I first started bodybuilding, the woman that I always just found myself drawn to was Dana Lynn Bailey.
Oh,
I
she's
mean,
awesome.
I
Yeah.
was obsessed with her on a like probably unhealthy level. Um, I wanted to be the bigger version of her because she's very short, you know. So I knew that I would never look exactly like her, but I just
Yeah.
loved her proportions and her density. I thought she was just, and her femininity. That was the
Yeah.
big thing that stood out to me, is that she was so gosh dang beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. She's really
Um,
beautiful.
so I went women's physique. I was like, that's what I want to do. That's my division.
Okay.
But David, as I lift more, my body wants to grow. I mean,
Okay.
I can't stop it. Like my off season weight is no less than 195 typically.
Oh, really? Wow.
I mean, I'm 194, 195 right now.
Okay.
And I'm
Wow.
still gonna grow.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Um, so this last time that we competed at nationals, the feedback that I got without actually explicitly saying it was basically suggestive of me going ahead and going to female bodybuilding,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
my look fit more with that division and I
Yeah.
won't have to worry about not getting too big.
I understand. What's your height?
5'9".
5'9". Wow. No, I think women's bodybuilding is a good course for you, and the, like, if you think about some of the money, like with Rising Phoenix and stuff, prize money
Mhm.
is kind of nice, and the car and
Oh,
everything.
yeah. Yeah. And it's
So
just, it's not even that. It's, these women are women that speak to me. You know, all my life I've been a big woman.
hmm.
And these women are big women, you know, and it's
Yeah.
like there's still these beautiful females. And I think that's awesome. I want to
Yeah.
be a part of that.
That's terrific. Yeah. I think you're going to hit the pro stage pretty soon. I really do.
Oh,
And
I'm planning to.
that's great. Yeah. Yeah. Now, where do you hope to compete next in 2023?
We were actually just talking about that. I saw my coach this morning. We're indecisive right now.
Hmm.
I wish I could tell you something that was more concrete, but we are back and forth between maybe venturing down to Miami.
Great.
We've considered legions in I think Nevada,
Yeah. Reno. Hmm.
Reno, yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
We've considered going back to North Americans. We may do them all. I don't know.
Okay.
We're gonna we are gonna see now that my rib is less than a week out from being fully healed.
Yeah.
I'll be back into my normal training regimen, and we're just gonna see how I unfold.
That's terrific. No, that's great. Well, I'll definitely be keeping an eye out, see where you land. Yeah, I'm excited to see you compete again. So that'll be
Me
great.
too.
Now, do you still do powerlifting meets, and do you have any planned in 2023?
I don't compete in powerlifting federations anymore.
Hmm.
Um, I will sometimes go and watch them. I have several friends that compete. My heart still has a piece of it in there, you know, and
Yeah.
I do train such that I guess I would call my training more of like a power building training. And I think that's the reason why I'm able to maintain so much like solid slabs of muscle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you know, I have met several bodybuilders that do not have that background.
Hmm.
And in a sense, like it looks as though they deflate during off season. And I'm
Yeah.
thankful that I still look like the muscles under there when I put on a little bit more fat, you know?
Yeah. Sure.
And I really do credit that to my powerlifting background.
There seems like there's been a lot more top women bodybuilders that are doing powerlifting now, and I think it's really
Mhm.
helps them a lot.
If you periodize your training and you throw that into the mix, I'm telling you, you're not going to regret it.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's good.
Straight strength training, you know?
No, I really think that's a good thing, and I really think it really helps provide a good structure,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was curious in terms of feedback from judges. Have they told you what you need to improve upon?
Yes. The head judge at the North Americans, I want to say his name was Jerry something. I'm drawing a blank right now, but he was very nice, very detailed in what he gave me for his feedback. And basically, it just comes down to adding width to my back.
Okay.
Everything else, he said I had plenty of muscle for the division. He said, my proportions were great. I was, my stage presence was phenomenal. So that's all good things.
Yeah.
I'm just not big enough in my back.
Okay.
I have a wide frame.
Yeah.
I nickname myself like a muscle juice box, because I'm just straight down. Like I'm not a curvy woman,
Uh-huh.
So I have to think about how my stomach looks compared to my lats. And basically it's just, I need more lats.
Yeah.
I need to be wider so my stomach and my midsection looks tighter.
Yeah, more of a V taper type thing. Yeah, that
Yep.
makes sense. Yeah. No,
It's
that's
just
great.
so hard sometimes because,
Yeah.
Everybody's got their trouble spot, I think, right?
Mhm.
And mine is, I'm not going to sit there and say my lats don't grow, but they sure don't respond quite like my legs do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
So I'm just going to have to tweak my training, figure out better movement patterns and things like that to really get my lats to respond.
Okay, I understand that. Yeah, I think lats are a tough thing to grow, a tough body part to grow.
Yeah. I love training back, but it's not, it's a little less agreeable.
Yeah, I understand that. Now, for these last questions, these are a little bit of a grab bag of questions, but I was just curious, do you suffer from body dysmorphia? And if so, how do you cope with it?
I think I've had body dysmorphia my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to growing up, again, always the bigger girl. I was 160 pounds at 12. So,
Wow. Uh-huh.
larger child. I wasn't fat by any means, but
Yeah.
I think it began in middle school because everyone was trying to wear these brands of clothing that just did not fit my body. They didn't have my size in anything.
Oh, I see.
And so
Okay.
I had to wear brands that weren't like trending.
Mm-hmm.
And we also just didn't really have a whole lot of money. So I would get like one or two items where everyone else was wearing, all these different like expensive things.
Okay.
So that was really when I first started feeling like I don't love myself,
Yeah, I understand.
I really started loving myself more when I got into bodybuilding.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
it gave me the power to change the things about me that I didn't like.
Yeah, I understand
Yeah.
that.
Problem
Yeah.
is you're just never satisfied.
Yeah, I know. I think that's kind of common, I think, amongst
Mm-hmm.
bodybuilders, isn't it? That
Yeah.
yeah, you're never really satisfied and yeah. And you're always transforming too,
Mm-hmm.
so there's no it's hard to find a status quo type thing with
Mm-hmm.
bodybuilding, I think.
Yeah. And, but I do believe that your perception is your reality. And
Mm-hmm.
so you can take that negatively and you can say, oh, I'm never satisfied. Or you can say, I'm never satisfied because I'm constantly trying to improve.
Sure.
That you can always be better. You can use it as like more of a fuel and not so much as like I'm not happy because I can't be the ultimate physique. There's not an ultimate physique. You can always be better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand.
I guess that's the way I try to view it. So it's less negative self-talk and more of like a positive, oh,
Mm-hmm.
let's do this. My back's not bad, but it could be better.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I think that's a good way to look at it. That's a really good attitude, I
It's
think.
helped me a lot with not getting so down on myself and not comparing to other competitors when I'm deep in prep because I have a
Sure.
tendency to do that.
Okay, I understand that. Yeah. No, thank you for that info. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Um, I wanted to talk a little bit, like, how has your experience been so far with her biceps cam? And has it brought in some good extra income for you?
It's been awesome. I mean, I think it's been about a month that I've been modeling on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say 95% of the time, it's a positive experience.
Mm-hmm.
There's only been a handful of times where I've felt uncomfortable, maybe, or just like I didn't want to be talking to that particular person.
Yeah, I understand.
And
Yeah.
I guess the great thing about her biceps is you can just shut it down. Like, I mean, you're not obligated to be on there. You're at your own free will to do as you please and to show what you want to show or don't show what you want to show. So
Sure. Yeah. I know some women who do it and it's just a nice side gig. It's some nice extra
yes,
income. Yeah.
especially since I've been out of work with my rib, it's helped a lot not be tight, not so tight on money.
Sure. I understand that. I should ask you real quick, what do you usually do for work?
So I am a master trainer and I'm the head trainer at our local gym here.
Okay.
And then I do online coaching. I'm a licensed physical therapist assistant. So sometimes I'll pick up PRN gigs at nursing homes or home health or things like that. Pretty much every part of what I do is physical.
That's great. Was it kind of tough being sidelined because of your rib injury? I bet it was kind of,
It was more mentally rough than it was anything, just because I'm such a busy person and I like being busy. So when I'm forced to not do anything and then also not have my training outlet, I just kind of felt lost.
Sure, I understand that. Well, the fans like that you're on her biceps cam, so I think the fan reviews have been really good on you. So
they have been. It's been really wonderful.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad that it's worked out so good for you.
Me too.
What would you do to improve the sport of bodybuilding?
So I guess one of the things that recently has been an issue, I don't want to say issue, something that I know that other competitors have discussed and kind of feel the same way about is that I'm sorry, my dogs.
No problem.
They're playing in the background.
No problem.
The clear separation between classes and divisions, or not classes, just mainly divisions.
Sure. Okay.
So,
Yeah,
the fact that a woman can be entered into bikini, wellness, and figure and leave with overalls in all three of those divisions. I feel as though that's something that needs to be revamped or changed so that you can't do that, because I do feel as though that's taking away from everyone else's ability to win more. I mean,
sure.
Once you, like, if you win your pro card in wellness and you're at the same show and then you win your pro card in the other divisions, that's 3 pro cards.
Yeah, so it's taking away pro cards from other people.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's even my coach had brought that up before we went up to North Americans. He's like, that's the only thing I feel is kind of an issue right now.
I understand that. Yeah, there should be probably some more clear division there, and I guess in a sense it also takes away like a national qualifier.
Oh yeah,
too.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, I have been guilty of, I won overall in these Texas shows in both physique and bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But whenever I got done, I was like, you know what? I really want to try to steer towards one category, because I know there's a lot of hardworking athletes out there. And I think that's what it should be. You should only be allowed to win one of those titles for one division.
I understand that. Yeah, I understand that. I agree with you on that too. Yeah. Now, what would you do to improve the sport of powerlifting, since you've been doing powerlifting meets too?
Oh my goodness. Man, everything when I powerlifted, it was like a very well-oiled machine. It's a very different world than bodybuilding.
Oh, I know.
It's kind of like a NASCAR situation. Your flight goes up, you go up there, they load all your weights, you lift, you're done. You go back and you eat and hang out, and I guess the subjectiveness of it, you know, because it's still very subjective as well. You have 3 judges typically watching from the, both sides in the front view, and you have to clear 3 green lights.
Okay.
So if one judge does not think that you had the appropriate depth, you get a red light.
Huh. I hadn't thought about powerlifting being subjective like that.
Yeah.
Of course, bodybuilding is.
Yeah. So both sports are very subjective, just in different ways.
Interesting. I didn't realize that. Because you would think it just you clear the weight and then you move on and
But I mean, you can do things such as hitch. If somebody thinks that you hitched for too long, they can give you a red light. There's all, if you don't wait for the up when you're bench pressing, because you come down, they make you sit and then press.
Okay.
So if you don't wait long enough and you go before you're told to, red light.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. I didn't realize that. That's really, that's weird that it would be subjective like that.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people, I don't think that powerlifting is as common as bodybuilding. So people don't really look into it quite like they do bodybuilding.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. Yeah. I was curious, have you gotten a chance to read the Washington Post, the Built and Broken series? And
I kind of quickly read through it a little bit. I had already been discussing it. One of my clients, who's a bikini competitor, she had brought it up and we had talked about it. And I feel like it's that kind of issue, or that it reminds me very much of the Me Too movement, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
And I do believe that it's been prevalent for quite some time. I've got friends that have been bodybuilders for 30 some odd years, and they're saying that it was happening back then too. So I think that what's happening now is that it's just people are actually bringing it to light.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it's been an ongoing thing. I think it's just been, everybody's been hush hush about it.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of a shame. Just thinking about the exploitation of women like that, and I don't know.
And the pressure, for me, thinking about if I were in their shoes, I guess it would be, if I don't do this, is my career going to be jeopardized?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have to do this because otherwise my livelihood is at stake, or something like that,
Yeah, it kind of reminded me a little bit of the Harvey Weinstein, because he kind of hung that carrot of work, for these actresses and stuff over, so yeah. Well,
that's kind of where my thoughts are with it. But, it's all right now. I don't know that there's really any concrete evidence. It's all very, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank, circumstantial.
Yeah, that's true. And there's a lot of hearsay, I think.
Yeah. And so, and it's kind of unfortunately, when you have stuff like that happen, it's like a forest fire,
Yeah.
People want to join in on that. And I'm not saying that the accounts are not true, but it just seems like it gains rapidly amongst the masses.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking too, it brings some prying eyes from outside into the kind of the kind of insular world of bodybuilding too. So, but I think I've heard from bodybuilders who don't really like that. They don't really necessarily want these.
I don't want, if it's a problem, I guess I want the problem to be solved from within. I don't want people to have absolutely no relation to the sport, or no interest in the sport itself. They just want to know what drama is happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that's the case and you thrive off of that, then you need to just go elsewhere.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. Interesting. I just had one more question for you. Is there anything that you'd like to mention that I didn't bring up?
No, I think you've covered all the bases.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming on board for this interview. Could you do a couple of flexes for me?
Of course.
Thank you. Wow. Well, that's a good shirt for you too. Better Bodies.
Yeah. They were one of my my winnings on the last Texas show. I got a whole bunch of Better Bodies gift cards. So.
Oh, did you? Wow.
Yeah.
You look awesome.
Thank you.
And I'll get in touch with you about your coaches because I can include your coaches info down at the comment section too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course include your Instagram as well. But thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me, and I'll get this posted relatively soon. But thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.